Hello again, Carlos Scarpero here. Scarpero.com is my website. I'm a mortgage loan officer in the Dayton, Ohio area, focusing mostly on the Dayton area, Dayton, Cincinnati, but I originate loans nationwide. Today I want to talk about FHA mortgages and how charge-offs and collections affect the mortgage process. Charges and collections are a little bit different from each other, although they are very similar. I'm mostly an FHA lender, so I'm going to be giving FHA rules today. If you're not applying for an FHA loan, the rules may be different. Also, we are a zero overlay lender, which means that we do everything at FHA minimums. Some lenders have what's called overlays on top of that, which means that they have rules on top of the loan when it's being done. So charge-offs and collections, they are not the same thing, although they are very, very similar. One of the big misconceptions is that people think that they need to pay off their charge-offs or their collections to apply for the loan, and that's absolutely not true. I've seen several loans go through with charge-offs and collections still outstanding, which is great from a lending perspective. The difference is with a charge-off, the company that has approved the credit has given up on the collection process. And with a collection, it means they turn it over to a third-party bill collector. So, for example, you have a medical debt and you didn't pay it, and they said, you know what, we're tired of calling Carlos on this debt. We're going to send this thing off to a bill collector. That would be a collection. Another example, you don't pay your credit card and they don't want to collect it from you and they just give up. Capital One says, you know what, we give up. We're not going to try to collect this. That could go either way. If they turn it over to a collection agency, it would be considered a collection. Or if they just give up and say, well, we're just not going to collect this, we're writing it off, that's called a charge-off. So how do you know how those affect your credit? Well, neither one is good for your credit score. Obviously, they both can lower your score, but the way to tell which is to look on your credit report. On the credit report, it'll say charge off if it's a charge off, or it'll say collection if it's a collection. However, we look at these items differently when we are approving someone for a mortgage loan. With a charge off, we don't consider that at all in terms of the mortgage process, although it will affect your credit score and those types of things. In terms of debt ratios, you don't need to pay them off. You can leave them on there and we'll pretty much ignore them in terms of getting approved. But the collection is slightly different. With a collection, there's a few different rules to follow. The first rule is with medical collections, we don't care how much it is. We'll ignore those completely. Completely ignore those from your debt ratio, which is really good as well. With collections that are not medical related, the rules are slightly different. With a collection that's not medical related, the first thing we do is total up the amount of collections you have outstanding. If it's less than $2,000, then no problem, we still ignore that. If it's over $2,000, what we do is we take 5% of the balance and apply that towards your debt to income ratio, so that it may affect your debt to income ratios when you're applying for a mortgage loan. So, for example, someone with $10,000 in medical collections, or non-medical collections, I should say, if it's $10,000, 5% of that would be $500, and we would add $500 to the monthly obligations when we are looking at qualification. So again, it doesn't disqualify you, but it definitely does affect debt ratios, and for someone that's tight, that has a lot of outstanding collections, it definitely can make a difference. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. My name is Carlos Scarpero. I'm with Paramount Residential Mortgage. My website is scarpero.com. That is SCARPERO.com. My phone number is 937-572-3713. Thanks.